Oh, well, hello there, you beautiful, wonderful, intelligent, incredible human being. I'm Andrea Dawn, and today we are here discussing more yoga asana, or the physical part of the yoga practice. And remember, this part of the practice, the asana part of the practice, was developed so that we could have a strong and steady seat, of which is necessary for our dhyana or our meditation practice, of which we need to develop that one pointed focus so that we become the ones who are steering our life versus our senses, meaning we need to exercise our mind. And we do that by creating a strong meditation practice. So today we're looking at a posture that's really helpful for this because it's really a good posture for our spine health, and it is Bhujangasana or Cobra pose. So let's dive a little bit deeper and learn all about Cobra pose. Each posture in the physical yoga practice has a Sanskrit name ending in asana, asana meaning seat or posture. And today we will explore Bhujangasana, also known as Cobra. When we break down the Sanskrit, we see Bhujanga, which means snake or serpent, and asana, seat or posture. Cobra pose dates all the way back to the 17th century, where it is described in the Hatha Yoga text and the Garanda Samhita. Bhujangasana is an active backbend and heart opener that requires some preparatory postures like crocodile, makarasana, or sphinx, salamba, bhujangasana, or bridge, setu bandhasana, or maybe some cat-cow like movements of the spine to enter it. Bhujangasana is often practiced as part of a vinyasa, or a series of connected movements that is repeated in between a set of other postures. It is also used as a preparatory posture for even more intense backbends, such as camel, ustrasana, or real chakrasana. This brings us to the why of Bhujangasana. This unifying why behind all postures is to attain a comfortable seat for our dhyana, or our meditation practice. Spine health is of utmost importance, not only for our meditation practice, but for our overall ability to function efficiently in our daily lives. Prioritizing our spine will lead to developing the ability to manage our mind, and the management of our mind is required in order to recognize how the delusions of our desires are afflicting us and standing in the way of anything beyond raga, or the insanity of trying to satisfy our senses. Do you see how we can simply open the door to the body and then be led to opening the door to more subtle aspects of ourselves? This is the beauty of asana when we allow for the true goal of yoga, to surpass the false gods of consumer culture. Bhujangasana stretches the front body from the chest all the way down to the tops of the feet, while strengthening the back body as well as the arms and shoulders. This posture also has the potential to improve lung function and respiratory health, increase circulation, improve digestion, relieve back pain, as well as improve your posture. Bhujangasana can have symbolic, metaphoric, and meaningful significance to our own personal whys. When we consider the Sanskrit translation of the posture, we first see Bhujanga, which remember translates as snake or serpent. Shiva, who is known in the yogic culture to be the first yogi, wears a snake around his neck. The cobra's venom is a representation of avidya, or ignorance. Avidya is the first klesha and the field of which all other sufferings arise. And I have an entire video on the kleshas and avidya if you want more information. Consider the ultimate ignorance as us going through our whole lives not knowing that we are the Atman, that which is beyond body, mind, which is unchanging, pure, the divine self with an uppercase S. That not knowing or not believing we are anything more than our gender or our bank account or a number on the scale or whatever else we have been brainwashed into believing is our being is poison. It is the venom of which infiltrates our misguided reactions, beliefs, judgments, and ways of being. Not only can the cobra remind us of our ignorance as poison, it can also teach us how to pierce that very same ignorance with courage and resolve. We no longer have to subscribe to the world telling us who we should or shouldn't be, what makes us worthy or worthless. Rather than subscribe to untruths, we get to sink our teeth into truth, into who we are beyond the thoughts swirling around in our heads. This understanding is the safe haven that resides within, that cannot be manipulated by all of this world's slithery snakes. Make it a practice to visit often, to get to know yourself beyond your likes and dislikes, and to trust the truest part of you as pure and whole and good. Then, like the cobra, with heart and chest and gaze lifted, we can face all things fearless because we are free. And that freedom, that liberation, right, is the point of all of yoga. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. To stop all of the mind swirling so that we get to Svarupe Vastanam, reside in our true nature of the Atman. But if we have no idea that that is what we are, even if we can't feel it right now, but if we are lost in the ignorance of not even knowing that is who we are, then all day, every day, we're just drug around by the senses, by our wants, by our likes, by our dislikes, by our desires. And that feels like a roller coaster. So what we want to do is make sure that we are at least studying Svadhyaya, these ancient spiritual texts that can start to guide us, that can help us remember who it is that we really are, and give us some practices like our seated meditation, like japa, like repeating a mantra over and over and again, so that we can develop this one-pointed focus, so that we can get beyond all of the unnecessary thoughts that are not really who we are, but we're believing they are who we are. And when we can move past that, we start to experience just a little bit of peace and ease that is the unchanging pure nature of the Atman, or the Purusha. And our back bends in our yoga practice can be a doorway into all of that. So we're going to demo Bhujangasana, or Cobra pose. Now, this is a pretty deep back bend, so we want to make sure that we've done a few things before we would go directly into this pose. You can revisit the videos that are on our Makarasana or Sphinx pose that can help us get started and have a warm up for the spine. Or you can do things like a few cat-cows, right? So we have some flexion and extension. You could do a little spinal twisting, maybe a little circumduction, and a little side bending before you move into this posture. But to get started, we'll come down onto the belly, and when you get down onto the belly, separate the legs so that they're about hip-width distance, tops of the feet down, feet pointed behind you. Bring your hands to chest level, and you can start with your forehead on the ground. Now let's engage the back body, press down through the tops of the feet, lift the kneecaps, engage the quads, engage the glutes. Then bring your awareness to your middle back. So if you were a girl and wore a bra, think of where that bra strap would be. And that's where we're going to engage the lift from. So on an inhalation, just slightly press through your hands, but really make the lift happen from the mid to the upper back, right? And then pause there. Now right here, this is our baby cobra. So this is a great way to start and to get into your Bhujangasana, and to make sure that you're noticing sensation, how much is enough, how much is too much. This might be plenty. You could also play with lifting the hands up, so you're making sure that the back is doing the work. Keep the back of the neck long. All right, and then we'll release. Now we'll come back to that baby cobra and lift a little bit higher into Bhujangasana, or Cobra pose. Press down through the tops of the feet, lift the kneecaps, engage the quads, engage the glutes. Find the middle back, lift. Right, now I'm going to draw my armpits back and down towards my hips, slightly press through my hands, and start to lift. And every inch just being really mindful of your low back. So you might stop right here. This might be plenty. you might come into the full posture. And remember that the quality of our practice is never about the shape. It's about the attention that you're paying to the shape, to the sensation, and to your breath. So from here, we want to make sure we're not shrugging into the shoulders, but pressing down, lifting up, keeping the back body engaged. Steady the breath. Steady breath, steady mind. And then nice and slow, we'll lower back down. A nice way to release from this posture is to rest one cheek down, bend the knees, windshield wiper, or circle the legs. All right, I hope this was helpful in understanding Cobra or Bhujangasana. And allow the reference to the cobra or the snake to be an inspiration in your practice, so that when you move into this practice or into this posture, you're remembering how the venom can represent avidya or ignorance or forgetting who we really are. And that might just be the little wake up you need to see, oh my gosh, I've spent the last 4 days completely obsessing about this or that. Completely identifying that with who I am. And that's controlling the way that I'm experiencing the world. And then giving yourself the courage to face that fear, to face that ignorance, to not judge yourself for it. It's not to condemn yourself. It's just a continual wake-up call so that you can remember over and over and over again the Atman and the truest goal of yoga, to reside in that Atman, Svarupe Vastanam. Always a pleasure, an honor, and a privilege. My heart sees and feels and smiles to yours.